Perched high above the streets of medieval cities, their grotesque faces frozen in eternal vigilance, gargoyles have captured our imagination for centuries. But these stone sentinels are far more than mere decorative elements. They are guardians with a purpose, symbolic protectors with a fascinating history that spans continents and civilizations. Today on Chronicles Explained, we delve into the mysterious world of guardian gargoyles. The word gargoyle itself comes from the French gargouille, meaning throat or gullet, a fitting name for these creatures whose primary function was actually quite practical. You see, gargoyles began their existence as elaborately carved waterspouts designed to direct rainwater away from building walls and foundations, preventing erosion and structural damage. The water would flow through the creature's mouth, creating the gargling sound that inspired their name. But if functionality was the only concern, why craft these spouts into such elaborate, often terrifying forms? Why dragons, demons, and chimeric beasts with bulging eyes and gaping mouths? The answer lies in the rich symbolism and spiritual beliefs of medieval Europe. In an age where literacy was limited to the privileged few, architecture served as a visual language, a way to communicate complex ideas to the common people. Gargoyles, with their menacing appearances, were believed to ward off evil spirits and protect the sacred spaces they adorned. They became silent guardians, forever watching over the faithful who entered the churches and cathedrals they protected. One of the most famous legends associated with gargoyles comes from 7th century France, in the town of Rouen. As the story goes, a fearsome dragon named La Gargouille terrorized the region, swallowing ships whole and causing devastating floods. Saint Romanus, the Bishop of Rouen, subdued the beast with the help of a condemned prisoner. They led the dragon back to town, where it was burned at the stake. Yet strangely, the creature's head and neck refused to burn, supposedly due to being tempered by its own fiery breath. The preserved remains were mounted on the walls of the new church as a warning, perhaps the first true gargoyle. While this tale is certainly more legend than history, it captures the essential symbolic power of gargoyles, the triumph of good over evil, of order over chaos, of the sacred over the profane. The frightening visages of gargoyles were not meant to scare away the faithful, but rather to remind them that the church offered sanctuary from the dangers and evils of the outside world. The golden age of gargoyle construction coincided with the rise of Gothic architecture in the 12th to 16th centuries. During this period, gargoyles evolved from simple waterspouts to elaborate works of art, each with its own personality and character. Master stonemasons were given considerable creative freedom, and they seized the opportunity to express their artistic vision, and occasionally their sense of humor. Not all gargoyles are terrifying. Many display comical or absurd features. Monkeys playing musical instruments, monks with exaggerated expressions, or ordinary people caught in embarrassing positions. Some scholars believe these more light-hearted creations were a form of social commentary, allowing craftsmen to subtly mock authority figures or highlight the folly of human nature. The Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris houses perhaps the most famous collection of gargoyles in the world. Though many visitors incorrectly identify all the grotesque figures on Notre Dame as gargoyles, only those that function as waterspouts truly deserve the name. The rest are technically grotesques, or chimeras, decorative sculptures that serve no practical purpose beyond ornamentation and symbolism. Interestingly, the most iconic gargoyles of Notre Dame are not medieval at all, but were added during a major restoration in the 19th century. Eugène Viollet-le-Duc, the architect responsible for this restoration, took creative liberties with his designs, creating gargoyles that reflected a romanticized vision of the medieval past rather than historical accuracy. These newer creations have become inseparable from our modern perception of gargoyles, influencing countless depictions in popular culture. Gargoyles aren't unique to European architecture. Similar waterspouts and guardian figures appear in cultures around the world. In ancient Egypt, lion-headed spouts served the same practical purpose. Chinese architecture features dragon-headed spouts that bear a striking resemblance to their Western counterparts. The temples of Bali are adorned with fearsome guardian statues meant to ward off evil, much like medieval gargoyles. This convergent evolution of architectural guardians speaks to something universal in human psychology: a desire to protect our most important spaces with symbolic sentinels, to place fierce protectors at the boundary between the sacred and profane. With the advent of modern drainage systems, gargoyles lost their practical purpose. Lead pipes and gutters proved more efficient at directing water away from buildings. Yet architects continued to include gargoyles and grotesques in Gothic revival buildings well into the 19th and early 20th centuries, recognizing their powerful symbolic and aesthetic value. Today, gargoyles continue to capture our imagination. They feature prominently in fantasy literature, films, and television. The 1990s Disney animated series Gargoyles reimagined these stone guardians as noble creatures that turned to stone by day but came alive at night to protect their city. In the Harry Potter series, gargoyles guard entrances to secret passages within Hogwarts Castle. The 1996 film The Hunchback of Notre Dame prominently featured the cathedral's famous gargoyles as characters who befriend the protagonist. Beyond pop culture, gargoyles have inspired a thriving subculture of enthusiasts and collectors. Some modern homeowners commission custom gargoyles for their residences, continuing a tradition that spans nearly a millennium. Contemporary sculptors create gargoyle-inspired art pieces, often blending medieval aesthetics with modern sensibilities. The appeal of gargoyles lies partly in their duality. They are simultaneously frightening and comforting, grotesque yet beautiful, practical yet deeply symbolic. They remind us that sometimes the most effective guardians are those that embrace the darkness they're fighting against. By embodying the very forces they ward off, gargoyles suggest that true protection comes not from denying the existence of evil, but from acknowledging and confronting it. As we walk the streets of our cities, it's worth looking up occasionally to spot these stone sentinels. Modern buildings may lack the elaborate ornamentation of their medieval predecessors, but gargoyle-inspired designs can still be found adorning universities, churches, and civic buildings constructed in the Gothic revival style. Each one tells a story of architectural innovation, artistic expression, and enduring symbolism. The preservation of historical gargoyles presents unique challenges. Centuries of exposure to the elements, particularly acid rain and pollution, have eroded many of these stone guardians beyond recognition. Preservation efforts often involve creating casts of original gargoyles and replacing them with replicas made from more durable materials, while the originals are preserved in museums. The 2019 fire at Notre Dame Cathedral highlighted the fragility of these architectural treasures. Though the gargoyles survived the blaze, the incident served as a stark reminder of how easily centuries of cultural heritage can be lost. The ongoing restoration of Notre Dame has renewed interest in gargoyles and the vital role they play in our architectural heritage. Perhaps the enduring fascination with gargoyles stems from their embodiment of contradictions. They are monsters that protect, grotesque figures that enhance beauty, stone creatures that seem alive. In an increasingly secular world, they remind us of a time when buildings were not merely structures, but expressions of cosmic order and divine protection. The next time you encounter a gargoyle, whether on a cathedral, in a museum, or in popular media, take a moment to appreciate these complex guardians. They are more than mere decorations or waterspouts. They are witnesses to history, expressions of human creativity, and guardians of our collective imagination. From their practical origins to their symbolic significance, from their medieval heyday to their modern interpretations, gargoyles continue to watch over us. Silent sentinels connecting us to a past where the boundary between the physical and spiritual worlds seemed more permeable, where buildings could protect not just our bodies, but our souls. Thank you for joining me on this exploration of guardian gargoyles. If you enjoyed this journey through architectural history and symbolism, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to Chronicles Explained for more deep dives into fascinating historical subjects. Hit that notification bell to stay updated on our latest uploads. And let me know in the comments which mysterious guardians or architectural wonders you'd like me to explore next. Until next time, keep looking up. You never know what stone eyes might be watching over you.